Welcome to the party. I'm with my friend Kelly.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So we'll just talk to each other.
Okay.
They get to have the enjoyment of having us have a conversation. It's like people watching.
Okay.
They're watching our conversation.
It's all in our mouth.
Yeah, they're over there. And thank you for your attention if you are live or if you see the archive. So you reached out to me because of Attention Life, my company, and you had kind of found some of the older NFT NYC videos, found out about the industry, kind of got drawn in with Gary Vee and the V Friends. Why don't you give your comic book one? What's the genesis of you being drawn here and actually getting you to our event?
Well, to be honest, you. I started watching YouTube, and when I got into the internet, I learned from Gary Vee about NFT, and so I started watching YouTubes, and you was the first person that popped up, and you was doing all these amazing interviews, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, who is he? So I just kept watching all your videos, and I just started learning more and researching, and I took off from there. And I just kept digging and digging and digging into the hole, and I haven't came out yet.
I remember I got a text message from you. It was like 4 a.m. I live on the West Coast, and it was not that early for you. I get this text message, and I'm like, who's this? I'm checking you out. I'm like, oh, I like this guy. Like, I want him to be involved in what we're doing. And so some of the things that really stood out to me is like, you weren't really a content creator, but you jump right into YouTube and you start creating content, right? You weren't part of the NFT community, so you acquire some NFTs and you jump into different communities. You jump on Twitter Spaces a bunch, and you like actually have a meaningful voice, not just to be heard, but to listen and to reciprocate and to actively listen and to actually learn. So how did you go from watching some of the stuff I'm creating to saying, now I'm going to be a part of this? And what's the process? Because some people maybe aren't with us, maybe next year, and they are saying, okay, first, second, third, fourth step to go from you see some videos to you're here and now you're a part of the community. What do you think was the progression? How can people kind of learn from your narrative?
So basically, just a lot of homework, a lot of research, and I studied a lot of YouTubes, and then I just started. After I was in YouTube for a minute, I went to Twitter Space, and once I got in the Twitter Space, I didn't know nobody. I was 0 friends, and I went to one space, and they was talking about NFTs, and I stayed in there for like 3 weeks just listening. I never spoke because I'm really not a good speaker, to be honest. Like, I stay in the back and just listen and observe. But once the people that was in the space, I could relate to, so it gave me the courage to hit the button and speak. And then once I spoke, the people who was in the community kind of just brought me in, like, come on in, man. We all family here, we all cool. The community, it was all about the community. And that made me feel at home. And once I felt that, I started talking more. I started talking more on Twitter. I ended up starting doing my own spaces. And then I end up just in a space one time, I ended up meeting Des Bryant, talking about NFTs and stuff. And they was like, dude, come to New York. We're going to be at the 44. I'm like, what? Like, I'd never been to New York. And then to come for something that I was interested in, it made it even better. So I started with just a lot of research. I started YouTubing and then just research. And then I started, I kind of did something that I don't think you should do, like buying a whole lot of NFTs, but I did it because I knew if I bought it, I was gonna learn about it. If I buy it, then I gotta know what I put my money in. So that's how I kind of learned too about all different NFT projects and what variety they brought, what different communities was like, and I just kept studying, man, and then here we are.
Here we are.
Yep. And then I had made a Twitter out.
Maybe a final thought is you look at the experience of going in a digital community, and then now you're here, right? We're here together. What's the impact in terms of how is this different? And what is your projection of what you might experience the next 3+ days as you're actually here with people, breaking bread, sharing stories, having those moments of laughter that aren't natural when you're producing something online. So what is your anticipation, your hope for this time?
Just to meet amazing people
Awesome.
and to learn from everybody at the conferences, and to give that back, I get so much love from this media. Like, it's different from any other social media. Like, it's just a positive and loving. So I love it. And that's who I am. So I want to give that back.
Yeah.
But in real life, like, it's like us here right now it's just makes it all come together.
Yeah.
Even though we talked on the phone and in media
It's
or whatever,
different.
now I'm looking at you eye to eye,
Yeah.
like it just makes it a complete circle.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's just amazing.
Well, also, I want to honor you in front of the camera. You know, you are the first stranger I didn't know that jumped in. You're like, hey, I believe in Attention Live. I want to get behind you guys. And I think that'll be part of our narrative forever. And that'll always be a place that you have in our company and in our tight community. Yeah. And so I think that says a lot about who you are. The courage to jump in and say, hey, I don't really know you except for some videos, but I want to get behind what you guys are doing. I think that's wonderful.
I appreciate it, man. I love everything you do, though. I've been watching you. I know you're a good guy.
I appreciate that.
Of course, I wouldn't. Why would I else be on anybody else's team but yours?
Thank you. Well, you are on the team, so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll grab the microphone. I'm still staying live. I'm ready for my next victim, everybody. Somebody come over here. Bob, I see you. Come on over. Come on over. All right, everyone, I'm bringing Bob in from Tonic. Let me pin this on you.
All right.
Well, don't need that.
Cool.
Hi.
Hey.
It's just you and me. They might be watching.
Okay.
They're just observing you and I having a human connection.
Nice.
Okay, so first time at NFT NYC?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard about it the last few years because you've been in the ETH NFT community? Really? Okay.
No, first time.
Okay.
Brand new.
Did I tell you about it?
Yeah.
Or was it Abraham, or was it already it was already popping on social?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. When we met, you're like, yeah, I already want to be a part of that, right? You have tickets? I'm like, no, we have no tickets.
Yeah. I was like,
I got no tickets.
Please tickets.
And then every time they release new tickets, get the tickets. So they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. Sorry, Bob.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about it. But you're here with two of your partners.
Yeah.
So why don't you just talk about your background in the ETH community and your interest, and then transition to also be part of the IC Dfinity community. And then maybe we can get to Tonic, but just your personal journey for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ethereum is awesome, like the most secure chain probably on the planet right now. You know, global consensus, really awesome, and has a lot of the benefits of a completely fully decentralized blockchain.
Yeah.
And so really like Ethereum from the tech side, but also interested in chains trying to solve some of the problems. It's always a trade-off between security and finality times and things like that. And so right now working on internet computer stuff, which really makes some smart trade-offs when compared with Ethereum. You know, it's already kind of a sharded infrastructure, which I think Ethereum's going to need to do in the next few years anyway. Sharded into subnets, so you have 2-second finality times. NFT minting is, fractions of a cent. No gas fees, reverse gas model, like just a lot of kind of core infrastructure improvements that really kind of pulled me, whole heart into the internet computer.
Yes.
I mean, fell in love with the tech. So it's kind of flying under the radar still a little bit, but
tomorrow, the iconic party, maybe it will rise above into the clouds. We'll
exactly.
see. I love Liz and her team and everything that they're doing. So I'm very hopeful.
Yep.
That through the effort of you and Abraham and Liz and all the people involved, that you can bring this opportunity, not as an alternative, but as a complement to what people are already doing in the space.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did you and Steve and the rest of the team connect? And did you come into Tonic as an existing thing, or was it an idea that you all kind of came up with together?
Yeah, great question. So Steven's been working on Tonic Labs for the past, I think since May. Was really looking for a blockchain to host their game, as a game called Rise of the Magni. It's a tile-based strategy game, really cool, kind of hexes with different characters, all NFTs. You're issued a set of kind of generic NFTs when you join the game, and wanted to build it on chain. and you couldn't do it on Ethereum. It's not practical. Was trying to build it in the Tezos ecosystem, but it was just really hard to have a game at web speed, like 100% on chain. And so found the Internet Computer, started doing dev, I'd say full-time, but it's more like double full-time or time and a half full-time.
You're kidding with the startup?
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
So all the time, built out a bunch of core infrastructure that you need for a game. Like you need a place to mint NFTs. You need a place to hold your NFTs. You need a place to sell your NFTs. So we have a wallet, we have NFT minting tools, we have a marketplace, all kind of within Tonic Labs. And we have this game, Rise of the Magni, NFT-based game. Also, we have a Chronix play-to-earn game coming out here in the next week.
Exciting.
So that's kind of all the things we've done at Tonic to try to build the infrastructure in order to support these video games on the blockchain.
Yeah. And so when you think about being here, and besides exposure to Tonic, which if we haven't been clear in our conversation, it's like an OpenSea for the IC chain for the Dfinity Foundation community. So when you're here, besides exposure, are there people you want to meet? Are there projects that you're involved with in the ETH community that you want to connect with people? Like what's a personal goal? Thursday night, you put your head on the bed, the event's over, and you're like, I achieved my goals because of.
Yeah, so I'm really interested in projects pushing the boundaries of NFTs right now. So we see a lot of the 10K generative profile picture collections, and I think that's a valid use case for NFTs. But I think there are core unique affordances to an NFT, like ownership transfer and digitally verifiable and on-chain. So you have the decentralization and the security. And I think we can take advantage of those affordances in better ways than we are right now.
Yeah.
So one example is charged particles. You can actually have NFTs owning other NFTs, owning other NFTs. So you could stick interest-bearing assets or tokens in an NFT, and it's almost like a gift basket index fund almost,
right?
Which is really cool. I'd love to connect with the charged particles people.
I interviewed them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm happy to connect you. That's one of the things I do.
Yeah.
Now I just said it live on camera. I'm accountable.
Yes.
I better do it immediately.
And I'm going to follow up on this.
You're going to follow me like, yeah, exactly. No, that actually would help. Can you please send a tweet out? Like, Ian, you said you would, and then I will.
Yeah, for sure. The other person I want to meet is Pixel Vault founder, G-Funk or Comic Man.
Yep.
I really love what Pixel Vault is doing. Multiple NFT lines, and they have interesting game theory in their NFTs. So they're going to build a game, probably going to release in the next year, but just really love the idea where you have a mint pass and you can hold it for a chance at like an ultimate reward, or you can mint your hero and get airdrops for that. And so the game theory aspect, I mean, it's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
To me, in terms of like pushing the boundaries, like let's add narrative, let's add lore, let's add story to our NFT projects, and let's have awesome art, and let's have it on the blockchain, and let's have video games. So yeah,
awesome.
Really like the Pixel Vault team.
Anything else you want to talk about, especially if people are watching live or they hear the archive, like where might they connect with you or Tonic, look more into what you guys are working on?
Yeah, I mean, website, toniclabs.com. I'm on Twitter, just Bob Bodley on Twitter. Really excited to connect with anyone.
I like your vibe on Twitter.
Yeah. I'm hoping
you're interactive.
Yeah.
You're not just a monologue. You're a dialogue. It's one thing I like about it.
Yeah. Having a lot of fun on Twitter. We're doing some cool NFT things like Spider DAO. Spider DAO is like an impromptu community-generated DAO that we're spinning up right now. Going to be really fun to navigate the regulatory waters there regarding for-profit status. Can you do it? Do you need to be a registered business entity? Do you need to be a Wyoming DAO? Is that enough? Or is that not enough? And how do you handle securities? Like, are NFTs a security? What about NFTs that promise you passive income? Are those securities? Or what about fractionalized NFTs? I mean, the regulatory environment is far from clear. And so we're kind of tiptoeing into the DAO waters, understanding that it's a hard thing to do right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of other NFT projects in kind of our Epic NFTs initiative, where we're just trying to kind of push the boundaries and see what we can do.
So awesome. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, super happy to be here.
Spend the week with you, and I'm happy I will. Good. Okay, you're out of here.
All right. Thanks.
I'm taking the microphone.
Thanks.
I'm taking the microphone.
You don't want to just let me talk to people forever?
I kind of do. I don't know if they want it.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask them.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Marcus, come on over.
Makes sense.
I see
30
you.
seconds more.
I see you. Come on over.
Cool.
Okay. We're talking together. There are people that are tuned in live or watch the archive. Thanks for your attention. But I don't want you talking to them. Talk to me. So reintroduce yourself to me. Talk about the Gungam Genesis project. Talk about CNFTs. Like, give me a little insight.
Okay, I'm Marcus. I'm the producer and the project lead on the Google Genesis NFT, which is a CNFT that stands for Cardano NFT.
Right.
So we are kind of the pioneers of Cardano NFT, one of those that has developed a project early on, and we have the smart contracts prepared right now. So the Google Genesis NFT is what we call a NFT that bonds fine art, physical art, and physical artists into the digital world. We did like a painting, and then we incorporated film, post-production effects, like visual effects and sound effects. And then I also did the orchestral music and recorded an orchestra in Budapest for it. So it's, as you can see, we have a big focus on getting physical, like more traditional form of art, showcasing it on the digital realm, because we believe, and as artists that is trained in that realm, that NFT can bring all of us together. We have a painter, we have a film post-production artist, and I'm a musician, a composer. Those things don't usually work together, to be honest, on the traditional way of things of collaboration. But with NFTs, we're trying to showcase that all of it is possible.
Yeah, it's good. So being here, what's the hope, you know, for kind of connecting with people in this environment?
To build more things and to get to know more artists of different disciplines and collaborate, market ourselves, to go and spread the word about NFTs to the whole artwork, to the whole world, that, you know, everyone have a painting, or everyone has their favorite song. All of those can come together.
Yeah.
In the NFT world. You can, instead owning a painting, you can get an NFT that you like and put it in your home. Like, a lot of people doesn't even realize the possibility yet.
Right. And own it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm a collector of your
Yes.
Genesis series. Glad that I am. You know, I got several of them for a reason. I believe in the project. I like you and the other two co-artists. So thanks for jumping in with me and saying hello.
Thank you.
And I look forward to spending more time with you here. I'll grab that microphone from you.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Are we
Thank you,
still live?
Marcus. We are live. We're live. This is happening right here, right now. I'm gonna grab this. Actually, can you grab him? Because I was really inspired by his talk. We're gonna need to lower this down. We're gonna back this up. Would you be up for jumping in a live stream? Is that cool? Lower this down. Why don't you come over, man? Can I put this on you? I heard you speak with Charles.
Yeah.
My name's Ian.
Nice to meet you.
I was super inspired by your talk
were
with
in
Charles.
Wyoming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it cool? I can grab you and do this thing. I don't have much to say except for just like, you had a super inspiring conversation with Charles. You're an athlete, and you've gotten involved in the Cardano community. You kind of shared your heart a bit about like what you find in this decentralized space. A lot of people here aren't very familiar with Cardano,
Right.
and CNFTs, things of that nature. So maybe you could just introduce yourself to me and we could just chat for a moment.
Well, my name is Fabricio Shao. I'm an adaptive athlete from New York City. I have 3 national championships with the Rolling Knicks, and I believe that I'm the only one-wall handball player in the world as of this moment. I've got into Cardano at a very, I would say, miraculous stage. I did not expect that. I wasn't looking into crypto. I was just looking into financial freedom of stock markets. And then just by, Google searches and YouTubes, it just led me into the crypto world. And like I said, it's not the white paper. I've said this before, and I always say this. It's not what the project is about, because it's just too complex for most of us to really understand it. It's about the people behind running it. So my passion, how can I say this? A lot of my passion is being drawn from Charles Hoskinson. I believe in his passion. I believe in his vision. And I know that he's the type of person that's not going to give up. So because of that factor, I want to make sure that I'm there and I'm supporting his dreams, while at the same time, I'm completing everything that I need to in my own life. And basically, I feel like even though he's at a higher level, in life than me. I do see a lot of our visions and our goals align.
Yeah.
It's just that he has a toolbox for it. I don't. And I just want to be able to help tap into that toolbox of his.
Yeah. So when you come here into this environment, it's obviously different than Wyoming, right? Wyoming is 700 of us involved in Cardano for the summit. There's 80 or something meetups. It was just a crazy amount of people that were all had the same filter.
Correct.
Right. Everyone was like, hey, we're kind of dancing to the same song. In this environment, it's not the same, right? It's like more of an ETH community of NFT type
Correct.
folks. And so when you come into a new environment, like who are you hoping to meet? What type of conversations are you hoping to have? Have you had a chance to meet with other professional athletes that are kind of in this space? Like, give me some insight in terms of what you'd like to see happen and maybe what has happened so far.
So the main concern that I have when it comes to the crypto world is the individuals who want to just compete and put other projects down. That's not what we are about. That's not what our vision is about, right? The vision is changing the world, making the world a better place. And something like that, whenever anybody says something like that, it's like, oh, you're being unrealistic.
Right.
Right? It's like, that's a major move. You can't do it. Well, exactly. We can't do it alone.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be Cardano. It's not just going to be ETH.
Right.
One doesn't have to go down for another one to go up. One doesn't have to go down for the world to change.
Right.
So it's that mentality right now that I think is the biggest problem in our community as a crypto community, not as a Cardano or ETH community, right? So if we are able to kind of like integrate each other, even though I'm a Cardano, I could sit there and comfortably talk to somebody that, is an Ethereum holder.
Yeah.
There should not be an issue there.
Right.
And up until this point, I see that there is an issue.
Okay.
So, let's try our best to change that, because this vision of changing and making a better society will not happen with all this competitive mindset.
Are there some analogies and similarities in terms of how you feel as a professional athlete with other professional athletes that don't have some of the same challenges that you've faced, in terms of like you are in a wheelchair playing handball and there's other pro athletes, both of you are going after sport, both of you are using your bodies to do something extraordinary, but maybe you come from different perspectives.
Correct.
And how have you bridged gaps with other people, and how might that apply to bridging gaps between people in different blockchains and things of that nature?
Well, with that being said, I'll take Paralympics, for example, and I'll use this as a really quick example. There is no equality when it comes to the disabled sports and the able-bodied sports, we call it that way. And the reason I say that is because, for example, and this is a good example, every sport that you would like to bring to, let's say, the Paralympics, it first has to be brought into the Olympics.
Right.
Right. So I sit there and I question myself as to why does a sport have to go through one platform first before going to another platform? It shows that one relies on the other.
Yeah.
Which should not be the case, in my opinion, but that's my personal opinion. Now, the way I also see it is, you said about a gap. This gap between disabled athletes and able-bodied athletes. This is part of my vision with the help of Cardano, because something like this can be done on your own, but with the help and the support of the community and Cardano, I'd like to make discrimination a thing of the past. So that's one of my many, many goals, is to find a way to make discrimination a thing of the past, because there's a lot of attention given to, like, for example, racism, feminism, all these topics. There's a lot of attention.
Good topics, but there's other topics to cover as well.
Of course. But then there's also other minor topics that is not given that much attention because of, whatever it is, natural selection or whatever you want to call it, because people have that mindset. So I think with time and with the proper community, we can really make a difference here.
When you think about that, you weren't expecting to come in, so thank you so much for trusting me, for trusting NFT NYC environment and coming in and talking with me. I saw you on stage and I'm like, I like him. I want to be his friend. So we're starting a friendship. But when you think about what you're talking about, what can be done that you've seen that's really helpful? And what are some blind spots with people that have good intentions, but ultimately they're missing the mark when it comes to having inclusivity and treating people well and having diversity thrive? So what are some struggles people may be blind to? And what are some things you're like, hey, this is a bright spot. This is a lighthouse. Like, this was working really well.
Are you talking in the crypto or the disabled community specifically?
Well, I really am talking to the disabled community specifically, because it's something that you can speak authoritatively to the crypto community. And so I'm happy to talk about crypto as well. but I just feel like you have an insight. I heard you share some things with Charles. I thought you have a voice that needs to be heard.
Well, here's one of my biggest issues. Can we take you as an example?
Please.
Okay. If you would like to start any sport in your life, the requirements for that is not much in terms of finances.
Right.
Okay. You want to do track, pair of sneakers. Basketball, a different pair of sneakers.
Right.
A tennis racket. All of these are very affordable for the average user. Now, a disabled individual, whenever wanting to start a new sport, is not just about getting the racket or the ball, it's getting the chair that goes with it.
Right.
Now, as of this moment, there is no company, there is no brand, there is nothing out there that sells affordable, competitive performance chairs.
Okay.
So the way I see it is there's a lot of individuals, disabled individuals worldwide that have tremendous amount of potential, but it will never, ever be shown to the world because they simply don't have the finances to spend $7,000 on a chair. So,
when you think of that as an example, what positive things are being done and what could maybe the crypto community that has all this new extraordinary wealth, they're looking for philanthropic things to put this, resources towards. So what good things are being done and what could this community be mindful of in terms of like, hey, I just made 6, 7, 8 figures, somebody might say, off NFT flipping or off launching an NFT project. Like, how can I help children? How can I help the downtrodden? How can I help people that don't have the same opportunities as me? Where could they focus and put some energy toward this issue that you're bringing up?
Let's take crypto, let's take Cardano, let's take Ethereum, for example. With everything in the world, there's many different angles. I think the biggest point here is finding the people who want to make the change. Finding the people who want to make that passion, because let's be honest, we're in New York City. There's a bunch of people who have the finances, but that does not mean that everybody wants to get involved in that because a lot of people don't see the future, don't see the potential. And it's like, why would I invest in the disabled community when at the end of the day, that's natural selection? So again, we're coming back to the point.
Do you face that often?
What do you think?
It makes me sad to think that that's the reality that you feel.
It's not the reality that I feel, it's the reality that I face.
I'm disappointed to hear that that's the reality you face.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here and I'm not sleeping in my bed watching Netflix because I want to make a difference. If I'm going to sit in my room and be depressed at the fact of what you're saying that, oh, I can't believe people are doing this to you. If I am to think the same way, nobody's going to make a change. That's why when you go on Google, on YouTube, you're not going to find a disabled person that is the figure of social media because there is lack of content, there's lack of confidence, and there's a tremendous amount of trolls, right? So how can an individual be able to pass a lot of mental barriers and stick hard with that point, right? So do I want to be the example of that? Not necessarily, but is it required from me? Yes, because I don't see anybody else doing it. I have a bunch of Paralympic friends, gold medalists, top athletes in the world, but they're very focused on one topic. That one specific topic, like let's say basketball or whatever it is never going to bring people to the idea that, okay, discrimination is a thing of the past. Because everybody can say, oh, he trained 15 years of his life. That's why he's so good at basketball. But can we take that and can we take an individual that's in a wheelchair and diversify his content? Skydiving, racing, sports, talking, whatever the case is, resemble that person as a regular person. And then from there, hopefully start changing some mindsets. And then, within the decade, within the next 2 decades, we can make a difference and people can start actually, saying, hey, listen, instead of, do you want me to open that door for you? Instead of just going and opening the door for somebody, asking, because there are certain individuals who feel more disabled the second you're trying to jump in front of them and open a door that they can do it themselves. Right? So it's the mindset. So
out of like respect and honor, asking before assuming that somebody actually wants your help.
Correct. Because there's a lot of aspects where we don't need help. Yeah. We don't need the help. And offering us the help makes us feel like, okay, thank you so much. You're very kind. I appreciate humanity. But at the same time, you're always reminding me that I need help.
Do you have questions for the NFT NYC community? It's a new community for you. If you could talk to the community and ask questions, what type of things would you wonder about this group? Because I've been a part of it since we launched a few years ago, and I love this community, and I really appreciated being at the Cardano Summit. And I wonder, sometimes people come into an environment, they're asked lots of questions. Maybe they have questions themselves. Are there things that are on your mind or things that you're wondering about? What this is all about? What's happening here?
Questions specifically that I would sit here on an interview and ask, probably not, because
fair.
the way I answer my questions is through networking, is through just talking to random people within the event. My main point of why I'm here is not really to ask questions, but it's more likely to show people that, hey, listen, I don't have to be an ETH holder to be here.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a Cardano holder to come to our events, for example. It's all about making sure that what is, let's say, Vitalik's vision, what is Charles' vision, us as people from that platform go with that.
Yeah.
And not just say, hey, listen, I want my Cardano to go up in value so I could be rich and buy a Lambo, so your ETH gotta go down.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And that mindset is what's making everything harder for the rest of us. So if we can complete something in 10 years or 5 years, for example, it's going to take double because of that mindset.
I've seen thousands and thousands of incredible videos featuring athletes. I thought the video featuring you that Cardano showed was really powerful, super well done. The cinematography was great. You obviously are incredibly strong and just a master of your craft. If people are interested in you as an athlete, if they're interested in kind of seeing what you're doing because they want to view, or maybe they know somebody that would be inspired by it and they might want to chase after sport and athleticism as well, where might people kind of learn more about you and do that?
Well, for example, I don't have like a business card at this moment, but there is many places like, Instagram is a good platform for me. Twitter, I just opened up a Twitter account. I was featured in the GQ magazine for June, July. So people that bump into that, for example, can see me. I was also featured in the ESPN for the US Open. So I have a little commercial going on there. But my main platforms are mostly Instagram, Twitter, but then my email is a really good place for people to just reach out to me personally and, set up like a meeting, for example, of projects or engineers that want to start developing 3D printed wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, my email, I'm always available for people who want to make a difference.
That's great. Well, I saw you kind of rolling up for registration. I'm like, oh gosh, I really want to grab him. I hope you'd be okay if I ask. So thanks for being open and having a conversation with me.
Of course.
And I really am thankful that you're here. I hope you feel very welcome and that you feel like this is a place that you can also find community.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is all about networking. It's all about the people, right?
Yeah, it is.
These people don't have to be Cardano ADA holders in order for me to have a proper conversation with them.
Yeah.
And again, that's the mindset that most have. It's like, oh, I'm an ETH holder, you're an ADA holder. Let's not talk. Why? Do you not bleed red? Do I not bleed red? Are we not?
Or you can just hodl all of it in Celsius.
As
Alex would tell me to say.
Right.
Well, hey, thanks for jumping in. Of course, I appreciate it. For those watching, peace. I'll be back again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Let me grab the microphone.
You like my
turn it off.
do you like my hat?
I love your hat. We'll get you another one. We'll get you another one. Let me grab this thing.
It has more value now.
That's true. It's special.
It's the only broken one here. Thanks again. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. Can I get your
Yeah.
contact info so I can send it to you? Let me just jot that down. Unless you just want to